Hello and welcome to another video. So, doing this the wrong way around. This is the machine now, all fully working and really very lovely. So, let's rewind and get this machine fixed. Covers off, and here it is in all its glory. Now, I do really like these machines. Okay, they're nothing particularly special, but in many ways. But it's an early short play, long play machine. Really, when they were starting to really get the long play right. What I do like about these machines is the deck. The deck is really solid. Predates the G deck. I always call them the MV deck, but you know, they're known under various names. They're just so solidly built. So I do know this machine sort of works, but the problems with it are basically the problems you're going to get with these machines at this age when they haven't been serviced. So it's going to need a new idler. The pinch roller as well will need to be changed. Yeah. There's a loading belt. They're usually not too bad. You can actually get away with just turning those around sometimes. I mean, as long as the tension's good, they're fine. I don't think there's a belt. I think this is actually motor drive. But there is also a little rubber tyre that goes against the idler here. These tend to be okay, and they can be worn and they can be dry. So yeah, they can cause problems. And as you can see, I've already removed the memory backup capacitors. These leak. I don't think I've seen any machines where at least one of them hasn't leaked. If you're going to remove these, cut them off the board first, because these chemicals, when they get hot with the iron, are not nice. I believe they're actually quite bad for you. So just make sure that you do cut the leads before you desolder them. I mean, I have unplugged that. I don't know why. But yeah, this incidentally, this disconnects the capacitors from the timer block. If you need to do any work on the timer section, you must unplug that first, otherwise it's still powered. So yeah, that's basically all I'll probably need to do to this machine. So, but anyway, what I'll do is let's power it up, and immediately you will have heard the beep. And yes, this has a buzzer. Now on the back there is a switch, bleep, and you can turn the bleep off, which is actually really good. I think that actually said it was off, but maybe it wasn't fully. So we'll just test that now. It could be that the switch has gone bad. So how's that? Yeah, I do wonder if that switch is a bit bad. It'll be cleaned anyway, so that's cool. The other thing I do really like about these is this front board. This control panel is so nice. Generally I don't like these buttons because they cause all manner of problems, but Panasonic seem to have fitted a really good set of switches here, and so far, touch wood, I've not had any problems with them at all. I mean, it almost feels like, usually with these, they have, it's either a membrane, so several bits of plastic with conductive bits in between, a bit like on the Sinclair keyboards, Sinclair microcomputer keyboards, or they have little metal domes that you sort of are clicking, sort of flexing to make the contact. These actually feel as if there is an actual physical button under there. I don't know, I've never taken one apart. Perhaps if anybody has, let me know in the comments what is actually under there. I mean, it does feel like proper buttons under there. I don't know whether these ever split either. I mean, again, I've never seen the plastic actually split, because there's a fair bit of travel there. But yeah, I mean, just so nice. I really like these panels, and you know, it's not too obtrusive, and yeah, it makes everything nice and accessible. So, really nice looking machine. So, let's put a tape in it. Okay, so we have a tape. Don't know what's on this, but I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to see what it does. In fact, I think the first thing we'll do is take this off so we can properly see what's going on. You can see there's some screws missing. There should be a screw there, one there, but there's two holding it. One there, one there. I've just got to slacken those off. I did. Yes, so slacken it off. Slacken that one off. There's one here as well. Which I don't think I mentioned. Don't have to come out. Just slacken them off. Probably isn't a bad idea to turn it off actually when you take this off, just in case you touch something you shouldn't. But so I've plugged it in. These are the other way round to the Sony betas. The Sony betas are usually out here and in here. This is out here, in here. BNC as well, and obviously mono. So it's left at mono for now. And the quality is actually really good. These machines are good. They really do give good playback quality. Short play is absolutely excellent. Long play, obviously, you do get the line reduction and not so much quality, but still, you know, very good. So let's press pause. It's got perfect still. This tape is actually a little bit abused. But yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, I think the machine probably needs a bit of a clean as well. To be fair, I know this tape isn't wonderful, but it's not that bad. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this machine. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is press stop. Check the tape, which is fine. No loops of tape left in there, which is great. So we'll take the bottom cover off and just have a quick look underneath there. And I think there is one belt, and that's just the loading belt, but we'll see. Place your bets now. And I was right, it is just a loading belt. These do have the two separate motors, really good quality motors these as well. They did really go over the top on the motor design on the long play machines, and as a result, they give really good results and good steady results on long play. I think they were much more concerned with the actual tape speed and regulating a good tape speed under long play conditions. So That's really good. I'm really over the moon with this. Yeah, so basically I'll fit the belts when they arrive. The two belts, loading belt as well, front loading system belts, new pinch roller, and yeah, we should be good to go. So new belt is on, and I've also changed the pinch roller, which was in a terrible state. I mean, it's just totally had it, and it's sweated as well. So the central metal part is actually sweated against the rubber, and yeah, it's a pretty poor state. It's amazing that was working at all, really, working as well as it was. So yeah, I've just found, I put a new belt on, like I say, and it's a belt from another kit, so obviously I still need to do the idler on the top, and I need to do that front loading system belt, which will come in the kit eventually, but I'm not going to show that. It's an easy job to do. So let's just try. Perfect. This belt is actually from a Hitachi VT11 video belt kit, and it's it's a direct replacement. It's identical. So yeah, I've just put that on. Brand new belt. So yeah, that's working really, really well. I'm so pleased. I mean, yeah, you can't get better than that, really, can you? So yes, let's get it put back on the right way round. So to change this belt, it's actually quite easy. You just put out this peg, and then you can just lift this up, push off the belt, and lift it up a bit further, hook the new belt around the motor cog down there, and then sort of just with a bit of fiddling and faffing. I mean, what I usually do is I actually push it on over to here, I seem to remember, put it down, and then pull it up over, and that should do it. It's pretty simple. It's not too painful. You don't have to take the front loading system off, although you do need to take the front loading system off ideally to change the idler. If you're just doing the tyre, I suppose you could get away with just prizing it off, but it's clumsy. This is quite small, so I would just take it off. To take the front loading system off on these, there are two. You're looking for red screws, basically. Red screw there, and then let's have a look. I can't actually remember. I think there's two more. Oh, there we go. It doesn't need the belt done. And then I think there's two more. No, I don't think there is. Yeah, so it's just these two screws. Undo the connector here, and then it just lifts out. It's hooked at the front, so that's all you need to do to get the front loading system off. So undo the screw there, undo this screw, unplug the connector, and then just lift it up and back, and it'll unhook from the front. So yeah, but yeah, that belt will definitely need changing. See, it's slipped quite badly now. So yeah, that'll get done when I get the kit. So that's it for this video. It's just a short one. I do really love these decks, and I couldn't not feature this deck in a short video. they're generally very reliable machines, even though they do have an STK regulator. That'll put some people off these, but they tend to be really pretty reliable. And very solid machines. Like I say, they will deal with a bad tape better than a lot of much newer machines. They're just so much tougher. And they will put up with crinkled or slightly damaged tapes much better than anything, really. So I'd strongly recommend getting one of these machines if you're archiving a lot of tapes, especially long play tapes or old tapes. You're probably going to have more success with this, and if you don't have success with this, then you probably won't with any machine. So yeah, highly recommend them. So okay, so just quickly on changing the backup memory capacitors. They invariably are always leaking. They're just bad. So best way to do it is cut the old ones out. These do not like heat and give off quite nasty fumes. So, and I did actually find when I was taking out the remnants of the wire that was still in there, one actually did go bang. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on video. After the first one went bang, I recorded the other, removing the other 5, and they're all okay. But it was like a starting pistol. It was really loud. And I will say, when I took this apart originally, underneath, there was like a film of chemical there, which I've not really experienced before. But I assume that is pretty highly explosive. It actually blew all the solder off the pad. It was that powerful and atomized it. You could feel it in the air, the solder sort of, and flux and whatever floating in the air. So that was pretty epic. So yeah, then to get this panel out, undo this screw and this screw, these two red screws. Pull this forward, unclip here, and lift it up. So, and similarly, you can take this board out by doing the same thing, undo these 2 clips. Once both these boards are up, you can then remove or open out the board that's underneath. There's a little black tab. Pull that back, and the whole lot will lift and sit parallel to this board. So access is actually really very good on these, if not a little bit tricky to work on, because obviously they're floating vertically in the air, but of course you can put the machine on its side. You know, you've got options. But yeah, so clean these up. I've just put heat shrink on the new ones and applied a bit of heat just to get them nice and snug. And that's it, they're good to go. I've actually gone for 5 farad capacitors at 3 volts. The original ones were, if there's any that still have the labels, 3.3 farads at 2.3 volts. So yeah, just a little bit higher. I have used them before, actually on one of these machines, and they were great. They worked really well. So, and I got those from Farnell. They're about £3 each, so not too bad. So now the new idler has arrived, and hopefully that's right. I'm sure it is. So let's actually change the idler. So 4 screws do actually hold the whole system down, but if you've taken the front off, 2 screws are already removed, so it is only just the 2 at the back, which are coloured red, and there's one down here as well. You won't be able to see, but you get the general idea of where that is. You can see it if you look directly above. So 2 red screws. Then we've got a connector which is up here. Pull that off. And the whole thing just lifts out like so. So, another common problem with these, and you can see this one is no different. The felt pad, the glue between the felt pad and the copper band, fails over time, and that causes it to become free. And I don't know whether you can see that, but okay, so you can see here the glue has failed, and it's pretty much free. It hasn't completely gone. Now I have actually got another one. I actually got a repair kit for a different Panasonic, but this will do. So what I'll do is replace that as well. And how I'll do that is I will actually line up the new one against the old one for now. Panasonics do have a bit of a habit of having higher than required back tension. Let's put a little mark there. I used to use a pen, but you get an error if you use a pen. Okay, so this is where the fun begins, because how this has changed. Let's just double check that is the same. That looks different. I think it is different. Yeah, so the only actual difference is the construction. This has a circlip on the top and then a piece of metal with the spring underneath. This is actually a pressed plastic assembly onto... Oh, it's not pressed on. The plastic assembly is what holds the spring, and that comes up against this brass bit here, so that's good. That's actually quite a nice additional bit of design. So now I've done loads of these and I still can't remember how you properly do it. I think probably every time I do this idler change, I do it a different way. So yes, in fact I think I can remember how to do it. So what I need is a little flat blade screwdriver. Okay, so we need to take this reel off, and that will allow this to swing right the way round. Now I seem to remember there is a spring underneath, which you can actually hold out of the way, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm just carefully prising this off. I don't want to lose this clip if I can help it, although I have got others. I've got new ones if need be, but because this has a window in the top, and the new replacements I have for these are black and not silver. This wouldn't look right, would it? So that is trying to push this way. So I think if I put my screwdriver there, and I caught the spring. So there we go. The idler actually doesn't look too bad, and it is still working. But the spring actually goes round this bit here. Yeah, makes it all the more fun. Oh, I've lost it. So, looks like I might have to take that all off now, slightly annoyingly. Okay, so when you lose the spring, I don't even know if you can see this. The spring is actually here, and you can actually, you can just about see it. You see the one part there, and the other part is below it. And what you can actually do, see the spring there? See there's a hole just above where the line of the spring is. You can get the spring up past that, and then from the top put a small screwdriver bit in, and that will hold the spring out of the way, because you also have to move this. You can see where the idler goes through there. There's a little arm there, and the idler needs to be the other side of that arm as well. So you need to move that arm out of the way to then get the idler in, and then that arm comes back to sit the other side, if you like, the top bit of that white circular bit of plastic, which is the bottom of the idler. So to do that, I had to take the motor out. Very easy. It's just 3 screws. They're all different though. Well, no, they're not actually. One is a plastic screw which goes into the white assembly here, and then you've got 2 more screws down here, which are both metal into metal. So have a standard thread rather than a self-tap. Okay, so you can see now the idler's in and the spring's in as well. I think it doesn't actually sit there, but it will find its own level. It'll be fine. I think it actually sits just below the where it is now on the idler. And it's the right side of the arm now, as you can see. So the wheel can go back on, put the motor back on. I have cleaned, because the kit didn't have this roller in, so I have cleaned this. And it's actually not too bad. It's under pressure anyway, so as long as the rubber's not cracked, it's fine. It'll work absolutely fine. So time to get the motor back on. So there's the motor all back together, and you can see the fixing screws. So this is the self-tap, and then you've got this one here, which is into metal, and this one here, which these 2 are the same screws. One thing I did forget to mention is there is also a spring on this assembly, which is here, and it's very easy just to unhook it from there. So yeah, so there it is, all fitted back. The spool's back on. I've also changed the back tension. I've moved it ever so slightly a bit further this way, just to slacken it a tiny bit, but I will need to put a gauge on that just to make sure that it's within limits, but I'll put it at the lower end of those limits. So there's the old back tension. You can see that's well and truly fallen apart. And there's the part number. It's actually a genuine Panasonic part, so it's the exact same length as the original one. So just in case you happen to find one. I knew I had to get something wrong. Where that actual spring goes, it doesn't go on here. It actually goes on the end of the arm, and you can just see it of the actual idler itself. So you can just see it there beyond this spring, just resting against the plastic there. Now you can do as if it slips out, which invariably it does, you can actually do it with everything back in. You just have to remove the motor assembly again, or remove it, and you can get in. But it is pretty fiddly. So yes, you can see it comes across here, and that's where it goes, and then the other end of it is hooked around here, give it some tension, and that gives the idler tension against the motor. So if when you've put it all together, the idler's just flopping about, or it's not hitting the motor idler tyre, that will more than likely be why that spring has just come out. Once it's in and it's all back together, it's fine. But it's just getting it to that state. So I knew I'd forget something. Yes, that's how that goes, or should go. Okay, so let's give it a go. That's looking good. No bangs or knocks. Perfect. And eject this. Super. Happy with that. So there we have it, all done, and working really well, to be honest. Really pleased with this. One tip with these is if you're finding you can't shut the door after you've put the front on, the chances are this bit here hasn't probably located into the plastic underneath. It'll be just slightly sticking out. It just stops it from closing. I know I've been caught out with that a couple of times. You think you've got it right, and you haven't. I think it's partly because this is so narrow as well. There's not a lot of rigidity to it compared to like a full size front. But yeah, it's turned out really, really nice, this machine. A few dings and marks, but really nothing very much at all. Timer backup circuit's working well with the new larger caps. So yeah, and this is actually really, it's not the best tape. It's also long play. You can see there's a little bit of jump there. It's been in a machine that's not been terribly kind on the tape, stretched it slightly. So, but that's what these machines are really good at doing. They really get the best out of a long play cassette, even if it's a bit damaged. They do such a good job compared to pretty much any newer machine. So, yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video and learned something maybe. Would love it if you'd subscribe, that'd be really cool, and any comments. And I look forward to seeing you in another video.